Meghan happy for Kamala Harris Vice President nomination. Duchess of Sussex also shared that she's spoken with Democratic politician and voting rights activist Stacey Abrams regarding voter suppression. Meghan is so excited to see the representation of women of color in vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris. While discussing the upcoming election with feminist icon Gloria Steinem, the Duchess of Sussex shared what it means to have Harris as the running mate for Joe Biden, making her the first black woman and the first person of Indian descent to be nominated for national office by a major party. "I'm so excited to see that kind of representation," Meghan said. "You know, for me, being biracial, growing up, whether it was a doll or a person in office, you need to see someone who looks like you in some capacity. As many of us believe, you can only be what you can see. And in the absence of that, how can you aspire to something greater than what you see in your own world?" Harris seems to also be a fan of the Duchess of Sussex. In June, the VP nominee shared a clip of Meghan's commencement speech to her high school, in which she addresses the Black Lives Matter movement by saying, "The only wrong thing to say is to say nothing." "Thank you, Meghan, for this powerful statement," Harris captioned her tweet. Meghan also shared that she's spoken with Democratic politician and voting rights activist Stacey Abrams regarding her concerns with voter suppression. "I had a chance to speak with Stacey Abrams about this to try to get a better understanding of what to do. For example, if you're a person of color and you're in line, the potentially is on end. And during that time someone tries to intimidate you to tell you that you should get out of line, because you might be under surveillance or any number of intimidation tactics that are so scary," she said. "And then you think, it's not worth it, you decide to step out of line and relinquish your right to vote," Meghan continued. "That's bad enough, but then there's a ripple effect because whoever's in the back of the line says, whatever they did to them, I don't want that to happen to me. That, I think, is so frightening. But I wonder how we circumvent that and how we get people to feel empowered." Meghan's backyard chat with Steinem was the latest in a series of appearances where she encouraged people to vote in November's election. Though she has stayed primarily bipartisan, she has repeatedly spoken about the change she hoped to see. "We all know what's at stake this year," she said during the virtual When All Women Vote last week. "I know it. And all of you certainly know it if you're here on this fun event with this. Then you're all just as mobilized and just as energized to see the change that we all need and deserve." Members of the British royal family historically do not vote in elections and remain politically neutral, although there is no law forbidding it. As head of state, the Queen has to remain strictly neutral with respect to political matters, and the royal family's website states, "By convention, the Queen does not vote or stand for election. However, Her Majesty does have important ceremonial and formal roles in relation to the government of the UK. The palace previously said that Meghan, who was born and raised in Los Angeles, had plans to become a UK citizen, which is known to be a lengthy process, after marrying Prince Harry in 2018. However, the couple returned to her hometown earlier this year and are living in California with their one-year-old son, Archie. Meghan famously spoke out against President Donald Trump leading up to the 2016 election. "Of course Trump is divisive. Think about female voters alone," she said on The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore. "I think it was in 2012, the Republican Party lost the female vote by 12 points. That's a huge number, and as misogynistic as Trump is and so vocal about it, that's a huge chunk of it." The Duchess of Sussex spoke to the feminist activist and journalist about voting when the subject turned to the vice presidential hopeful. Steinem began by saying we've been rescued by women of color in recent elections during their meeting for digital magazine Makers Women. She added, "The heart of the Democratic Party has been black women, actually. And now there is a potential vice president who is black, and that's exciting. For me, being biracial, growing up, whether it was a doll or a person in office, you need to see someone who looks like you in some capacity. As many of us believe, you can only be what you can see. And in the absence of that, how can you aspire to something greater than what you see in your own world? I think maybe now we're starting to break through in a different way." Since quitting royal duties, Meghan has been outspoken on race, backing Black Lives Matter in June and talking about unconscious bias. Meghan's father Thomas Markle bought her a gift when she was 7 to help her make sense of her identity. The Duchess wrote, "I had been fawning over a boxed set of Barbie dolls. It was called the Hot Family and included a mum doll, a dad doll, and 2 children. This perfect nuclear family was only sold in sets of white dolls or black dolls. On Christmas morning, swathed in glitter-flecked wrapping paper, there I found my heart family. A black mum doll, a white dad doll, and a child of each color. My dad had taken the sets apart and customized my family. One that showed me that I should, and could, make my own box. I picture him standing there in Toys R Us, mums glaring at him for taking the toys apart. Perhaps an employee saying, 'Excuse me sir, you can't do that,' as my dad carefully separated the boxed sets to make one that echoed my reality. That he decided he was going to do that thing that was about breaking one of the most substantial barriers that has existed in our country, and he made that decision with whatever risk that brings." Thank you for watching. If you like our video, would you please help us like, share and subscribe our channel. Wish you happy to see our videos. Thank you very much.